Imagine getting like a calendar invite, yeah, for a town hall, thinking that your CEO just wants to basically just talk about all the numbers and how the company's performing and so on and so forth. And you get on the call and the CEO is just like, yeah, like, look, if you're on this call, you're fired, innit? But then when I started looking into Vishal, I was like, right, like this guy is actually capitalism on steroids. Layoffs happen all the time. And in fact, Better.com is not the first company to lay off this much people in one go. Unless you're living under a rock, I presume you would have heard about the CEO who fired about 900 employees. Like, what? All in one go. And this was over Zoom. This guy really pulled up on Zoom with no blurred background, just dining table and vibes, and said,
if you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group.
Fuck you, dude.
That is being laid off. Your employment here is terminated.
Laying off 900 staff members was an equivalent of about 15% of the company's entire workforce, which is actually just very wild. Now, before I do a live reaction to this video, amongst other things that I actually found online, I think it's important that we talk about who Vishal Garg is, Better.com CEO, what Better.com actually does, the rationale for the layoffs, and then finally my thoughts on the whole situation. I kind of put in a bit of research into this one, so yeah, if you could just kindly smash the like button, thank you very much. And yeah, let's get into it. Vishal Garg, born in 1977, is an Indian-American entrepreneur and is most known for his role as the founder and chief executive of Better.com. Clearly a bright student, Vishal graduated from New York Stern Business School in 1998 and took his talents to Morgan Stanley's M&A department for the best part of a year, before ditching corporate to start a mortgage and student loan company known as My Rich Uncle with his former business partner Raza Khan. The company went public on NASDAQ just after 5 years of operating, demonstrating that Vishal was no average guy. Over the next 14 years, he founded 2 investment firms which allegedly made him a billionaire before focusing his full-time efforts on Better.com in 2014. Essentially, a digital home ownership company whose services include mortgage, real estate, and homeowners insurance at the basic. Their goal is to re-engineer the mortgage process for Americans by leveraging technology to make home ownership faster and efficient. And one of the ways they're actually looking to make the home ownership industry more efficient is by cutting out intermediaries, which I think is quite funny because a big part of their business model is actually being an intermediary to other mortgage lenders. So they're essentially connecting customers to other mortgage lenders. So one could actually argue that they're actually making the industry more inefficient by being an additional intermediary in the industry. But again, what do I know? I don't have $1 million company, so you know, I can't really be talking like that. Their website states that since inception, they have funded over 45 billion in home loans, which is actually quite wild. And they've also provided over 25 million in cumulative coverage, which is essentially referring to their insurance business. Now, the reason Better.com is considered to be this innovative startup is because their loan officers work on a commission-free basis. And what that essentially means is that they don't make money from the individual loans that they sell. And they kind of brag about this, like, you know, we're commission-free, like, you know, we're keeping the money in your pockets. But quite frankly, I'm certain that Better.com probably obtained fees from all the counterparties involved in the loan transactions, and then obviously like referral fees as well if they recommend, like, you know, customers to other lenders, and then the policy payments they get from their insurance business as well. So again, like, I don't actually really see this efficiency in home ownership pitch. To me, it just seems like they're another intermediary in this space, and they've managed to just you know, sort of carve out a bit of market share by getting into the mortgage business. But again, I digress. I'm not really here to sort of analyze Better.com's business model. Here to talk about the actual event at hand. Let's get into the video, and then yeah, we can sort of like unpack it and talk about it.
Mortgage industry today is broken. We saw it in the credit crisis where mortgages and bad mortgages almost sank the economy. We see it when consumers go and
see that everyone in the background's paying attention. Like, look, no one is literally chit-chatting because Vishal runs a tight ship. You know, like, if Vishal can fire 900 people, what's to make you think, if you are talking when the CEO is delivering his clear mortgage industry is broken pitch, that you're going to be here talking? You get fired just like that. So, you know, like, he runs a very tight ship, and you can definitely tell, do you know what I mean? Like, everyone in the background is so, like, look, bow, focused. Yeah, Vishal runs a tight ship, guys.
I'm in my career, I'm doing this, and I do not want to do this. The last time I did it,
I just feel like bro could have at least pulled up with like a blurred background or something. It's like, Bro's just here, crotch out, messy ass table. Like, it's just like, bro, like, come on, like, the least you could do, like, come on, bro, come on, come on, come on, bro, come on. Least you could do, like.
The last time I did it, I cried. This time I hope to be stronger.
He's such a bullshit. A man said the last time I did this, I cried. Sure you did. Sure you did, bro. Sure you did.
This time I hope to be stronger.
But this time I hope to be stronger. Bro, you don't need to be strong, fam. It's the 900 people that are going to get let go that need to be strong.
Laying off about 15% of the company for a number of reasons.
Like, the anticipation is just, like, killing me. Like, the way the pauses, it's just like, bro, spit it out, man. Spit it out. I think to me it's quite weird, though, that you would deliver this kind of message, like, over Zoom. Because, in my view, I just think the CEO does not exist to do dirty work. I personally feel like that is the reason why you have your subordinates to basically, you know, you sort of tell the senior management, look, we're cutting people, tell your direct reports to tell their direct reports to tell their direct reports. I thought that's how it would work. And I could almost bet that Vishal just wanted to do this way because he just wanted to. He probably thought it was the most efficient way to get rid of 900 people.
If you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group.
Fuck you,
That
dude.
is being laid off. Your employment here.
Imagine getting like a calendar invite, yeah, for a town hall, thinking that your CEO just wants to basically just talk about all the numbers and how the company's performing and so on and so forth. And you get on the call and the CEO is just like, yeah, like, look, if you're on this call, you're fired, innit? Like, what? Like, what? Like, what does that even mean? What does that mean, bro?
2 months of Cobra for which we will pay the premium. So 3 months total.
It's so mad as well how, like, they only get, I think it was basically 2 months worth of compensation, regardless of if you've been in the company for however long. Like, everyone's just getting 2 months, which is quite wild. Like, I just feel like the UK could never, like, I don't think you can just get rid of people like this, like, in the UK. Like, there's so much loopholes that you'd have to go through, I'm pretty sure. And, like, severance packages would have to actually be hefty as well. Like, you can't just get rid of people like this. I don't think it would actually run. Okay, guys, so this is the second footage that essentially emerged off the back of the first one when he just fired people.
Being as productive as possible, we are delivering to deadline for our customers and
Guys, can you just see the way the tone has changed? Look at the way he said deadline with such vim.
we are delivering to deadline for our customers and for each other.
Guys, the deadline is so aggressive, like, bro, like, even sis at the back is like, rah, fam, like, he like, yo.
Parts of this organization that have not been deadline-centric before will be extremely deadline-centric going forward.
Take a shot every time Vishal says deadline, like, deadline, like, oh, like, bro, chill out.
You will not be allowed to fail twice. You will be encouraged to fail once.
Yeah, like, just so authoritative, like, just look at the delivery, like.
You will not be allowed to fail twice. You will be encouraged to fail once.
I said you will not be allowed to fail twice. What? Fail twice where? Not here, bro. Not here.
Not meeting deadlines will not be acceptable.
But he's really serious about these deadlines. Like, he's not playing about. Like, deadlines, boy. Vishal claims that this was due to
The market, efficiency, and performances, and productivity.
which are probably true to a certain extent, but it's just wrapped around a whole bunch of corporate malarkey, right? I'm going to outline a key event which sort of sets the tone and the real reason as to why these employees were actually let go. So earlier this year, Better.com received 750 million cash infusion as part of an amended SPAC agreement. Now, what this basically meant was that they were looking to list their company through a SPAC, which is essentially an alternative to an IPO, and it's basically a quicker way to go public. The company that they were going to be merging with to go public also revealed that Better.com expected losses of about 85 to 100 million in Q3, and Q4 wasn't looking so good either. So all in all, Better.com's financials this year has not really been looking good, and typically if you're going to go public, you'll need to cut down on a bunch of unnecessary expenses for the public listing to be somewhat lucrative, right? And unfortunately 900 employees happen to be an unnecessary expense in this instance, and apparently their SPAC sponsors also declared an ultimatum that basically said, Vishal, you have to get rid of 15% of your workforce if you want the remaining funding for this, like, you know, SPAC to commence and for your company to essentially go public. One could argue that bro actually just did what he had to do, right? But that was kind of the whole rationale as to why he let all these people go. Layoffs happen all the time, and in fact, Better.com is not the first company to lay off this much people in one go. A lot of corporate institutions carry out mass layoffs periodically, and the pandemic is a perfect example of how the job market was and still is in a turmoil, to be quite honest. Like, unemployment numbers have hit record highs to date, and yeah, you know, it's just all wild. So for starters, I think what people are really angry at is the medium at which this experienced corporate CEO decided to deliver such devastating news. Like, if you actually think about it, like, people's livelihoods, the ability to feed their families, and every other dire scenario you could think of is, you know, sort of depending on having a job. And, you know, leading up to the holiday season, your management team decide that the best way for you to deliver this devastating news is for you to pull up on Zoom with that Patagonia drip, no blurred background, and then say, right, if you're on this call, you're fired. That is just poor discernment and judgment from the management team on delivering such news. Surely someone in HR should have been like, yeah bro, like, I don't think you can deliver this news in this way. But to be fair, in their defense, they were probably going to get fired too, so it's actually all a bit mad, isn't it? But then when I started looking into Vishal, how was that raw? Like, this guy is actually capitalism on steroids. I was sort of just looking at his history and, like, all the stuff he's done to date, like the aggressive and degrading emails to staff members, business partners, and even his major investors. Pinebrook Partners, one of his major investors, this guy was just going ham in emails to, like, one of their principals, which is quite mad because you're essentially biting the hand that feeds you, where he owns multiple businesses that are being serviced by Better.com, and he basically pays those businesses, which is essentially paying himself again. So you have all these conflicts of interest issues in there. Then he's also rewarding inexperienced execs stock options that vest into like 8-figure sums instantaneously. And this guy like pocketed $25 million cash last year, like, from the company, which is quite mad because typically a lot of startups, what the executive teams would do is they would reinvest the money back in the business to sort of like chase growth in order to go public. So the fact that this guy was just taking 25 million cash, you know, while the business is still trying to push for a IPO or, you know, going public, is quite wild, right? Because it's just like, how are you doing this, bro? And, like, you know, no investor is putting you up on it. Vishal has a clear reputation of moving mad. If you actually look at Vishal's career to date, he's worked as a regular employee for the best part of 1 year, and then after that he just became a businessman. And one could argue that he never really developed the people management skills that you actually need and you gain as an employee to be able to lead an organization. So that's why this guy is just like a very, very harsh, you know, get done or get fired type of guy. Like, you know, he started his career in an investment bank, in a mergers and acquisitions division. This is like essentially one of the most hardest working divisions, where it is very rash and, you know, you're fired if you don't work hard type thing. I'm just flabbergasted at how Vishal has been able to cover all of these antics so well and convinced a bunch of investors to actually give him 400 million. Like, in my view, like, bro has just got hella skill to be able to do that. Long story short, Vishal has been called out on a number of these antics. Major investors are pulling out from Bear.com. The SPAC has actually been put on hold and is being pushed back. Execs are quitting the company, and overall HR is carrying out damage control to prevent other people jumping ship. Now, I personally think that everything is actually going to work out well for Better.com, and they'll probably have a successful listing, because if you look at Vishal, he's a very savvy businessman, and putting aside all the madness that he's involved in, like, he will figure it out. Like, my heart genuinely goes out to the 900 people that lost their job. To those that are still within the company, I'm not going to start advocating for you to leave the company, because it's not within my rights to be doing something like that and bashing the company. But what I will say is just reflect on the series of events that's happened and just ask yourself, is this the kind of culture you want to be a part of? Because to me, if this isn't a red flag, then boy, I genuinely don't know what is. But anyways, that is it from me, guys. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss a thing. Yeah, man, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.